Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're jumping back down into the world of XRP, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we expect to happen next, and all that wonderful stuff. As we get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, you know what to do, smash that like button, do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Okay. Let's get into it. Here we have XRP paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Following on from the last few days and what we've been talking about, we are moving in the direction that we've been talking about, essentially moving up into our targeted ranges. Now, do expect there to be volatility. We're not going in straight lines. There's a lot of wave counts that are going on at the micro level. And I'm going to be drilling down into what is going on right now at several different levels that are lower than this hourly chart. This is going to give you an indication that yes, things are still progressing, but every kind of retracement isn't a panic situation, okay? There's a lot of things to think about, lots of moving parts to the equation, but it is reasonably simple when you understand the concept. So here you can see at this zoomed out version of this hourly chart, you have 5 strong waves going up. Okay, these have not finished, they are not complete yet, but basically we have 1, 2, 3 coming up into this yellow box that has not finished, 4 coming down here, and then 5 coming up here finally, okay? Inside this wave 3, we're tracking a 5-wave structure in itself. Starting down here, we have a wave 1, we have a wave 2 that's complete, wave 3 is complete. We're looking at wave 4 as complete at the moment, and we are in this kind of stage right here, trying to come up into this final 5th wave. Okay, now looking at the structure of this, everything looks like we're on track. But inside here, there's also 5 waves in themselves, and I'm going to drill down into those waves. Okay, one of the things that I keep getting feedback on these videos is it's a bit confusing. There's, it's not doing what I'm saying. It's because we're on different time frames, right? And I'm doing this on an hourly chart. Usually, I don't really want to go down lower than that because it's not really good practice to be thinking about real micro movements, like what's going on a 15 or a 5-minute chart. But in this particular example, I am going to do that. I am going to go down and drill down lower. Okay, so just bear with. This is going to be really, really important for what's going on right this second. As this video kind of goes out, some of this will already play out. Okay, and obviously this is going to be a part of the zoomed out picture. So here we are. Right, zoomed into this final 5th wave, right? We're looking to come up into this yellow box area. This is between 58.65 and 63.36. Okay, this is not unusual. We've been talking about this for a couple of days, specifically in the Discord server, but also here on YouTube. This is not anything new. Coming down here, we can see that we had this local low. Okay, I'm still on the hourly chart at this point. This is our low point. Now in here, this is very obvious, but we'll go through it anyway. We have ourselves a 3-wave structure. Now we've got a couple of different ways of counting. I can take this low, that high, and that one, or I can go ahead and take this low, that high, and that low. Doesn't really matter. It's 3 waves either way. It's not 5 waves down. Okay. So then we start to see this move up and move down. Now there's a couple of things that are really important about these 2 structures before we drill down lower. This one over here and this one over here. They're actually the same wave. They are both wave 1s in my opinion, okay? And as we drill down into these lower ranges, you'll start to make sense of it. So let me just zoom out just a fraction more, and we'll go in and say, okay, well, this is wave 1, this is wave 2. We're looking for wave 3, and then we're going to look for 4 and 5, right? So its 5th wave contains 5 waves. Now I think we're inside this wave 3 here, and we're doing something very similar, but we haven't quite hit the targets yet. Okay, so we have a little wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, and 5, and that's where wave 3 will be. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill into that, okay? We're going to not really pay too much attention to that macro. We're really focusing in on this little area here, and because this is the one that people seem to be freaking out about, okay? But there's a bigger play, okay? And it's really important that we keep note of those. Now, on this hourly chart, I'm going to do it here. Actually, no, I'll tell you what, I'll do it on a 15 because we can see it on the 15 in a little bit more detail, right? So here's all of our movements, right? We can see this move up, we can see this move down. Let's start with that. Okay, well, let's just start with this slightly bigger one just here, right? This move from here to here. If I take this from the low to the high, just over here, we can see that we come down to the 786 Fibonacci retracement zone, okay? A key area. Anything below 50 and, between 1 and 50 is going to be the typical kind of range. Now 88.2 is also an area that's really, really important, and that's kind of what we see within this little range. If I take this low and I take this high, you can see that we come down to 88.2 on the fibs. This is a typical wave 2. Okay, so looking at this, we have ourselves a nice little structure going on, right? We have this as our wave 1, We have this is our wave 2, and then we're looking for wave 3. We're not there yet. And again, when we start drilling down, now we're on the 15-minute, we can also see some similarities of what's going on. We haven't finished a wave 3 because we're looking for 5 waves in there. Okay, this is the difference between corrective structures and impulsive structures, right? We haven't hit that third wave high yet. What we're seeing right now with this little bit of panic that's going on at the point of recording this video is actually just our wave 4. We're still going to go up into that wave 5. So let's go ahead and do some measurements here, right? So we're going to grab the fib. We're going to run the fib from wave 1 to wave down to the origin level here. We're going to move this over, okay, into our bounce just down here on wave 2, or this low on wave 2. We've gone past the 1.618. We're looking for the retracement. Then we're going to be moving on up. Okay, so this is our micro count of our micro count, if you will. Okay, now we also want to do the same thing. We want to run a fib from this high level here to this low level. We want to move this one over into here. Okay, and then we can see that our typical wave 3, our wave 3 has to come up to 53.73 before we can call off again. Okay, so we know that our kind of 5th wave expectations are going to be somewhere in that range. Okay, now it could be that it overextends, it gets its own kind of subset of waves. It might be that wave 4 has to come down deeper in order to allow it. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But my expectations on this are that the next big major resistance level is going to be right up here at 53.73 cent. Okay, this is going to complete our micro 3rd wave, and then we pull back for 4, and then we go up into that final 5th wave up higher. Now this is our 3rd wave of all of this structure over this side. Okay, as I said, I'm on the smaller 15-minute chart here. Okay, so just bear with. There's a lot of things to kind of think about, specifically when we're talking about all of these different structures. This is why Elliott wave theory seems very confusing to a lot of people. But essentially, you know, it isn't that confusing when you understand the structures. Now, for this to become impulsive, we have to come up here. Okay, now up here is going to be at 59.86. Okay, that's quite the journey it's going to make. So what we could be looking at is actually several different things. We might start to see overextensions going on that we just can't normally see regularly. If we do finish up here, then we're not impulsive, right? We haven't hit those targets that we need. So we should be kind of, you know, concerned about that. Now, the other thing that could be going on is that this becomes 53535. Okay, this is just 5 waves coming up originally inside here. Okay, think of this as a wave 1 structure out of our 3rd wave. Okay, so 1, then down for 2, then up, and we hit that level. Then we pull back and hit it again and just go a little bit higher, for example. Okay, and that there would then actually then become our structured move for our 3rd wave. 1, 2, all of that is 3, then down for 4, and then up for 5. Okay, so obviously I don't like to come down into these smaller time frames for YouTube purposes because it gets very, very messy very, very fast, right? But essentially, if we were to think about everything that's going to play out before I even put this video onto YouTube, for example, we should be moving up into this 5th wave. We should be heading towards 53.73 cent by the time this video goes live, in my opinion. We are about 45 minutes out from this going live on YouTube. So I'm expecting a little bit more to the downside than we're looking to the upside. Invalidations all the way down here. Okay, so what we mean by invalidation is it prevents us moving up in the same structure. Okay, it's at 49.30. Okay, so we know that that can't happen. Now, from our stochastic RSI on this 15-minute chart, we've still got a lot of room to correct. However, if I go down into a 5-minute, we're already down here in the ground, meaning that we're ready to have that next move to the upside. Now, it's possible, of course, that we haven't finished the 3rd wave or anything like that. We spoke about this. We can kind of see the structures that are going on in there. We might actually be looking for an overextension and all that kind of stuff. We don't really know what that's going to look like from these smaller timeframes. We can't really see it. If I come back up into our hourly, of course, where we can't see any of that noise, everything that's going on in there's a lot of stuff going on within these few candles, right? And we can't really see it from this hourly chart, but we have our clear objectives. We know where we're heading, how we want to be getting there, and all those wonderful things. So our clear targets do remain, right? We're looking for 53.73 to start with, just to turn this first little area just here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 going up. But of course, that doesn't reach our 59.86 area here for our 3rd wave. So we have to be a little bit cautious that things might absolutely go a little bit more insane within this area here, and we just continue to really move up strongly before we're hitting this area, before cooling off again. Okay, because what we are really looking at on this hourly chart is something that should look like this. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for. Obviously, we just don't know what that journey looks like on how we get to that wave 3 yet. Okay, but essentially that's what it is. That's what we're kind of looking for. A lot of people are overreacting when it comes to price movements, and obviously if they're using leverage and they don't really know what they're doing with that stuff, then obviously that's going to be a lot more dangerous. Okay, but understand that this is where the structure sits at the moment within our hourly chart. Now, as I kind of bring this back out, we can obviously see that we'll expect a big wave 4 at some point. We'll expect a big wave 5. Now you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, guys, and figure out, okay, well, it's taken days for us to kind of finish off this little move going on. It's probably going to take a little while longer before we actually start hitting these kind of levels, right? And then, of course, once that's hit, we're then talking about moving down into these low ranges, right? So we know that things are going to take some time. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to take a fair amount. And of course, if we come up into the daily time frame and we really start talking about structure, we can start to see a real big A wave coming up here, a big B wave coming down here, and of course, the 5-wave drop down here is just a 335, if anything at all. We aren't really looking at this. I mean, let me tidy it up a little bit, right? Because it is a little messy. Let me go ahead and just go ahead and actually tidy some of this stuff up. We don't need these on here. I don't think we're really in this triangle, so I'm going to break that down now. We don't need that. And we'll just go ahead and, in fact, actually, I'll just go ahead and grab some of these and just remove them off the chart. We'll just tidy it up. There we go. Okay, so we have WXY going up. We have this potential B wave coming down. We have a lot of overlap going on here, so we are not trending down. There's never been a trend in this, but there are some micro counts of 5 waves. For example, over here, we have this kind of breakdown, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. That's fine. That's not a problem because it's a part of a bigger play. It's a bigger structural move, 3, 3, 5, for example. So all in all, it actually just looks like 3 waves coming down. So we go 1, 2, 3. Now, it's possible this is the bottom. It's also possible this is not the bottom. Okay, we don't know for sure. We can think that it is. I mean, structurally, it looks pretty good, but this could also turn into a WXYXZ, for example, and still move down lower. So we want to be a little bit cautious. We don't want to call the June low XRP's bottom per se, specifically under the structure that's leading into this little move here at the moment as well. Okay, I mean, a lot of people were thinking the same over here, right, during July 2021. Oh, fantastic, right, the bear market is over, we're up, and then no, you come back down. It might just take a little time, but it is there. Same with this one over here, you know, oh no, we're not in the bottom, it's fine, and then you move up in a really strong way, very similar to how we are right here, and actually you break back down again. We come back down, this is the bottom, we move up, no, this is now the bottom, we're moving on up. You know, who knows, right? There's not really good indicators to really give us good, clear guidance on that. But from Elliott wave theory point of view, it looks like it could be. It has finished structure at that point, so that's looking pretty good. But this move upwards is still corrective. It's not trending. Specifically, what I mean by that is this area here is not trending. This little part at the end is, and that's a type of corrective structure called a 335. It looks like we've got 3 up, 3 down, 5 up. Okay, so that looks what it basically looks like what it is. So be aware that those tend to break out and break down again afterwards. Okay, so although potentially, you know, looking for trending purposes, it doesn't actually tend to trend. It actually tends to break down. So just be really cautious with it. We're not going to the moon, in my opinion. Of course, I have a much bigger play going on here where we have this really large structure that goes across multiple years. You can kind of see what this looks like from an Elliott wave theory point of view, right? So really, really good stuff. But just be aware that we're not trending down. That's not there. We potentially have finished structure, but we don't know what it looks like after this 335 corrective structure here is finished. And obviously, you've seen all the noise that's going on in the smaller time frames, and you know, essentially we really want to focus in on structure that is going on within our hourly. It gives us kind of the multi kind of week approach. We can kind of see long term what's going on under these structures and what we're expecting. By the way, guys, this little box here, this retracement zone, would be typical if we are trending up. Okay, so if we are to ignore the 3-3 area and just focus on 5, this is where we should stop on a retracement, but there's no guarantee of that. Okay, so if we are, fantastic, this is the accumulation point. If we're not, we're going to just go straight through this and we're going to go down into new level lows. So keep a close eye on those things. But guys, I'm going to leave the video right there. There's a lot of detail that we went through. If you found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.